On today's show, things are bad for the Dallas Mavericks right now. Anthony Davis out again. Kyrie Irving, when is he going to come back? But there's reasons for optimism. The Mavs are going to be better earlier than you think. Tell you why. Today is Locked On Mavs.
This is Cooper Flagg, and you're listening to Locked On Mavs.
I think that's a good question.
Good morning, Isaac. All these changes, I still got my dog, Dwight Powell.
Your daily Dallas Mavericks podcast.
No one's dying.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Still can't.
Your team every day.
I'm going to get a city like that.
And welcome. You're locked on to the Dallas Mavericks, your team every day. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member covering the Mavs for over 10 years. Thanks for being in every day or making Locked On Mavs your first listen in the Locked On Podcast Network, your number one sports podcast network out there. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. Before tip-off, check out the FanDuel app and see what's dropping during NBA Happy Hour every Friday from 5 to 6:30 Central Time. Today's episode, I'm going to answer some of your questions. Our text line got a bunch of really great ones, and here are a couple that I saw. Who on the Mavs has a future on the roster? I thought was an interesting one. So I went through the players on the roster. Are the Mavs set up better right now in Flagg's rookie season than they were in Luka's rookie season in the middle? What percentage each player gets traded between Anthony Davis, Gafford, Naji Marshall, and Klay? We'll get to all that, but let's start here. This is a question I've got a few times, and I talk to a lot of Mavs fans. I like to talk to a lot of you at Mavs games, or if I see you out there in the wild IRL, if I meet somebody, I like to ask you, how are you feeling about the Mavericks right now? And I like to ask the question because I want to know, are you optimistic? Are you pessimistic about about the direction of the team? What's the sticking point for you in trying to figure out, all right, how do I feel about this team? I like to hear the ones that are optimistic, and I listen to some of the reasons and I go, ooh, I don't know if you should be optimistic about the Mavericks for that reason. But we got this question. Again, this is all from our text line, 214-643-8637. You can go to the QR code or check the links in the description. It's a way that we send you rumors and news and all kinds of stuff. So we'll send you all that kind of stuff. But then Isaac does these Q&As where he asks for your questions and then he answers them, sends them back in a document. It's pretty cool. We get to do that mailbag kind of thing. What are reasons to be optimistic about the Mavs right now? I'm having a really hard time. Anthony Davis's injury again. He's so injury prone. Kyrie Irving's getting older, coming off of this ACL. The Mavs cap situation is not good unless they make a trade. The Mavs don't have any draft picks. Their ownership, I don't know if I trust. And I don't know what's going to happen with this new GM. All right. That was a question we got. And I think that it's valid. I think all those things are valid reasons to feel frustrated about the Mavericks. They're going to be tanking, or not, at least not trying to win a ton of games to end this season. They have a tough end of this season schedule. They have the third hardest schedule in the NBA to end this season, which is they've got the Spurs 3 times. They play the Thunder again. They play the Nuggets again, the Celtics twice, the Timberwolves 3 times, the Rockets again. Like, they play a tough schedule and they don't have a ton of easy opponents coming up. Mavs are coming off of 2 wins here against the Utah Jazz, but there are a lot of those things on the list that I think are totally valid. So, all right, here's my reasons for optimism. Number one is so obvious. You probably looked at this episode, saw the title, and said, this guy's just going to talk about Cooper Flagg for 25 minutes. And guess what?
Pledge allegiance to the flag, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because he is the number one piece of a building block for a team that so many teams across the league would just love to have. Think about all the teams that wish they were in the situation the Mavs are in right now, despite everything else. Think about the teams that are in this situation that would love to have the problem, quote unquote, the Mavs have. Washington Wizards, Brooklyn Nets, Chicago Bulls, Miami Heat probably, New Orleans Pelicans, Sacramento Kings, the Utah Jazz. The Utah Jazz would love to have a player as good as Cooper Flagg to build around. They've got Larry Markkinen, they've got Keontae George, and they're not even sure what their future is. They're tanking right now, outright tanking, because I don't think they believe that those guys are number ones. I would throw the Hornets in there. Yes, Concanipple's been really good. They do have LaMelo Ball, has been an all-star, but I don't think they have a guy that's going to be as good as Cooper Flagg, like the one to build around. It's going to make your team a playoff team in the next 2 to 3 years. I don't think that's going to happen. Could be. Con could take another leap forward. He's been very good this season, but I'll throw them in there. The Grizzlies, they have this whole situation where they've got Ja Morant wanting a trade. Maybe he doesn't want to trade. Maybe he wants to stay. He's been dancing around in London when they played that game. But either way, I think they would rather have Cooper Flagg in the future going forward than they would have this huge contract with Jaren Jackson Jr. coming up and whatever the Ja Morant situation is. I would throw the Blazers in there. Denny Avdija has been great. He's been an all-star, but I don't know that he's a number one. I don't know that you can win a playoff series or even a playoff games with a guy that has to go to the free throw line 10 times a game in order to score 25 points. I don't know. And do the things that he does. He's been awesome, but I don't know that I'm going there with it. That's 10 teams off the top of my head, right? You go through some of the other teams, you're like, yeah, some of these teams probably don't have as good of a player, but with the Milwaukee Bucks rather being in this situation, like you start asking those questions. The Mavs have already done the hardest part. They have Cooper Flagg. He is 19 years old, a number one player, I believe. He's shown to be clutch already. Awesome connective piece. He's a defender too. So like an incredible player to build our team around. So if you're starting with one building block, you get to pick one. Yes, you would probably pick a dominant player on one end of the floor or the other. But if you want to build a team with anything and you have you don't know what you're going to get going forward, you don't know what other pieces you have, I would start with this piece, right? Reason why it was easy for them to build a team around Jason Tatum or SGA. You're like, all right, well, we got this guy who can do a bunch of things on the court, and we can build a team around this guy, especially as a defender, because we saw the Mavs try to build a team around Luka, the build a team around Nikola Jokic. Those guys elevate you in a way that on offense that Cooper Flagg probably will never get to. But it's harder to build a team around those guys because you've got to make those pieces right at the highest level. So the Mavs have that number one piece. They've got that building block. That's the reason for optimism number one. The next one, the Mavs are probably likely getting a top 10 pick with a 1 in 4 chance at getting top 4. And if a 25% chance that you go get Darren Peterson or AJ DeBonsa or even a Cam Boozer up there or a Caleb Wilson, that sets you up immeasurably going forward. If you get that chance, or if the Mavs deal with the devil lasts for 2 drafts instead of just 1, imagine, then you're set up. Then that's your future. Then boom, you've got 2 guys. Now you start building, right? Now you start building the pieces around those guys, the complementary pieces. How long did it take the Mavericks to try and figure out who's Luka's second star? I will talk about that a little bit later. But they do have a shot. And here's the thing. A lot of teams, their shot to get a second star is you got to trade for it. You have to sign that player. You have to draft it and get lucky. Get lucky with who you draft. You got to draft somebody late. But the Mavericks have this chance. They basically have a 25% chance to be set at the end of the summer, right? Have some cap things to figure out. Got to get probably some role players around them if they make trades. They got to figure out those things. And obviously, you're talking about these guys would be competitive in 2 or 3 years probably. But you'll be set with your foundation going forward. 25% chance they'll be set. How about that? Right? Because if you get those 2 guys, then what do you have to do? Get role players. That's kind of the easy part. There's role players all over the place. You've just got to find the right combination of them. The right coach to coach them. The right way that you need this team to go forward. But okay. What's harder is to get a number one building block. I just named 10 teams that don't have that. And then to get a second piece next to them. Okay. They also do have some complementary players that if things tilt right, then they are kind of set at that spot, those spots. Max Christie, going to be 23 at the end of this year. He's a solid 6'5" sharpshooter. He's got a little more drive to his game, can defend. Like, that's a solid piece that you want around Cooper Flagg. I don't think he's going to be so expensive that you're all of a sudden going, oh my gosh, how are we paying $25-30 million for Max Christie? Right? So you've got that guy that you can slot in there, can be a starter. I guess could have come off the bench if the Mavs get so deep that you can't figure out how to play some guys. But he's been awesome, and I think he can get better too. You do have Dereck Lively. Now, yes, he is team all if healthy. And
I'm not a doctor, so I don't know.
I don't know if we can like write him in pen at the starting center. But if he does come back from that foot injury, if he does come back and he is good for you, if he does find a way to get healthy, to figure out how to play long term, then he is a perfect center that you can place on this team. Incredible rim defender, team defender. Lob threat. Him and Cooper Flagg, plus whoever else, would create an incredible defense that the Mavs could just really build around. Only 22 years old. He's got some runway in front of him. So he is all team if healthy right now. But if he is healthy, then those are like, all of a sudden you have 4 building blocks of like a starting lineup that could win an NBA title in 5 years, right? 4 or 5 years. You got Ryan Nembhard. He's 22. I don't know what he's going to turn out to be, but I do know that he's an NBA player and he's got some things to figure out, obviously, but he's got something. And so maybe he's an off the bench guy that you have going forward. And I'll talk about some of those other guys. You obviously still have PJ Washington, who's 27. He's a building block going forward. Kyrie is 33 coming off that injury, but you have an incredible leader and mentor, which is a great thing. Like the Mavs do have these building blocks going forward. These are reasons for optimism that I have for the Dallas Mavericks is you've got building blocks for the future. You have the number one building block that any team would want.
Pledge allegiance to the flag, man.
You've got a bunch of other, you got a couple other role players around them, and you have a 25% chance that you are set for your future going forward this summer. Not bad. Not bad, right? Coming up, let's get into some more reasons for optimism. Massive trade pieces. And if anything, 2 years from now, I think the Mavs have an incredible opportunity for them. I'll tell you what that is coming up. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by FanDuel. Fridays already feel different with FanDuel. You can go and get the NBA happy hour. You can go see all the different things that they have. Your official pregame, a limited time window where special offers drop right inside the FanDuel app before action starts. You can go check it out. Hopefully you didn't have the Bears money line because then you were like freaking out. Then you were freaking out in a different way. Then you were excited. Then you were ecstatic. And then you were disappointed. But you can get all kinds of different ones too, especially with the NBA. The happy hour deals are specifically for the NBA. What are the Mavs regular season wins are? The Mavs to win over 30 games, plus 154. Over 25 games, minus 850. So I think that they're definitely going to win at least 9 more games this season. I hope they win at least 9 more games this season or it will drive me crazy. But there's all kinds of stuff like that in the NBA happy hour deal for FanDuel. So before tip-off, check out the FanDuel app. See what's available during NBA happy hour every Friday from 5 to 6:30 Central Time. A little basketball, little action, a whole lot of Friday energy. That's NBA happy hour only on FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, being part of the show, part of the Raccoon Squad. That's what we call our listeners, listening every single day. Appreciate you guys for checking out the show. I talked about the text line. That's the number that you can text and get text from us on rumors. Every rumor that I ever see on the Mavericks, I send you a text right away. Send you my thoughts on it. I'll send you notes and updates on the injury report and rumors. I'll send you news updates, all kinds of stuff like that. And we'll do the Q&As that Isaac does and things like that. So subscribe to that. Become a Locked On Mavs insider. The number is in the screen. We also have the Everydayers Club. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. All right, let's get into some more reasons for optimism. Still answering this question in classic Locked On Mavs fashion. Anytime we do a mailbag, we're like, one question takes us the whole show. So, reasons for optimism for the Mavericks. The Mavs do have trade pieces. Like, they do have some guys right now that they could start building they could start having some future assets. Because right now, one of the problems that this listener wrote in on is that they don't have any draft picks. It's not 100% true. They do have some draft. They got this one obviously coming up. It's a big one. 25% chance that you are set for your future. Love that. Then you have your picks in 2031, 2032. You've got the 2029 Lakers pick. Not sure how that one's going to be. You do have the swaps with OKC and San Antonio. You will have draft picks. They're just not great draft picks that you have going forward until later. But they do have Daniel Gafford, Naji Marshall, Klay Thompson, Anthony Davis. You have Jaden Hardy and D'Angelo Russell's contracts you can throw in to match some salaries. They do have pieces that the Mavs that have some value out there. You can go trade. And I think a little bit later today, I'll do an episode on things the Mavs should do going forward. And I have some thoughts on some of those trades. They have trade pieces that you can make something out of. Anthony Davis may not get you much value, but maybe he'll get you something going forward. And that could set your team up with flexibility going forward, which is good. You're not in like cap hell yet necessarily, right? It's not like these are contracts that last like 5-6 years where we go, oh my gosh, it's going to take the Mavs 3-4 years to just get out of this salary situation. That's not where the Mavericks are right now. And if anything, let's say they can't make any trades. Let's say they can't trade Anthony Davis. They can't get off the money. They can't if anything, I think they can still get out of the second apron next season, even if they don't trade Anthony Davis. It can still happen. That's one of the things that people have pushed back on me and said, well, why are we just desperate to dump Anthony Davis? You can get out of a second apron situation in the summer by dealing some guys. I think that makes you a little desperate to trade some of these guys. Right now, you're not desperate to trade like a Klay or a Gafford or a Naji Marshall. But in the summer, if teams are like, ooh, they're trying to get under the second apron, teams may take advantage of you. But if anything, AD and Kyrie's contracts are up in the summer of 2028. They have player options for the season right before that. They're up. And then in that summer of 2028, Flagg will be 21 years old. He'll be going into his 4th year, the last year of his rookie deal. The Mavs will have 7 future first-round picks, even if they don't add any picks with the guys that I just talked about. 7 future picks. that you feel good about. The only players under contract that season, the 2028-2029 season. So we're talking this season's done, then 2 years from now. PJ Washington will be 30. He'll be in the last year of his deal. Daniel Gafford, if they don't trade him, is in his 30, last year of his deal there, which I don't feel terrible about either of those, really. The Gafford money is maybe a little bit much, but I think he'll be better than what he's shown this season and then be back to us feeling not too bad about that contract. Lively maybe gets an extension. Max Christie maybe gets an extension. Other than that, you have no other players under contract. Flagg, PJ, Gafford, last year of their deals expiring. Lively extension maybe. Max extension maybe. Your 2026 first round pick that you get this season, whoever that is, if it's a Darren Peterson, AJ DeMonsa, whoever, will be in year 3. Your 2028 first round pick, it's just the swap with OKC. That you'll have that player on the books. But if you clear AD, but that's all you have. And so 2 years from now, all of a sudden the Mavericks are so set up to be flexible, to have future first round picks. There is a light at the end of the tunnel for all this. So if anything, let's say they're not able to do any of this stuff that I just said, there is a situation where you come out of this era, right? Remember when Nico Harrison set up the V word, he set up this plan of this 3-year window of AD, Kyrie, and himself with these 3-year contracts. Like that is up in like 2 years. And on the other end of it, you have Flagg, the 2026 first round pick, whoever that ends up being, flexibility, draft picks. Like you have all that stuff going forward. That's the future. And you're like, Nick, that's like 3 years from now. No, it's like 2.5, which is not too bad. There are ways to get out from under it a little earlier. If you clear AD's money, I think that opens everything up 1 year earlier. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm so down to trade AD and figure that out, because it clears all that. It clears a lot of stuff up a year earlier than all that, what I just said. Mavs have already done the hardest part. They got that number one guy. And so at the end of this era, whatever this is, they have that guy. And at the end of this era, he will be 21. He will be younger than most of the rookies in this class. Insane.
Pledge allegiance to the flag, man.
I want to give a quick shout out to a Reddit post that I saw today that was somebody that said, does anybody say people forget about Frank in their everyday lives? Now, I haven't used that drop in a long time because I took out all the drops of Nico because I didn't want to give you guys PTSD. But then all the comments in that Reddit post just became everybody commenting different drops from the show, which I really, really appreciate. They had like immaculate vibes from Jalen Brunson. There was a bunch of comments. And so I see you out there, Reddit. I appreciate that. And it made me smile seeing all the different like references that people make in their everyday lives, because I do it too. Like every once in a while I'll say,
I'm not playing. I'm watching, just like you guys.
I'll say that. This is probably going to be a new one.
He's got to touch it. He's got to rub it and hold it.
I say that to myself. I say this all the time.
I don't always tell you guys the truth.
And then, of course, I've already used this one today, but this one.
I'm not a doctor, so I don't know.
Incredible. And this one was on there. I'll give you this one more time just because this was one of the ones listed under that Reddit post.
All these changes, and I still got my dog Dwight Powell. I still got, you know what I mean? I still DP still in here. So I just, like, what up, bro? Like, he was excited. He was like, man, I've been waiting on this. I'm like, you and me both.
No, they didn't get to see it very long, but that's incredible. Coming up. Well, let's do this right now. What's the percentage each of these players gets traded? Do I think? I'm going full on gut instinct. I don't have sourcing on any of these. This is just gut instinct on how tradable I think these players are and if they will trade them. The toughest one, Anthony Davis. I'm going to go 75% they trade Anthony Davis this season. If you asked me through the offseason, I would say 100%. But I think there is a chance the Mavs take him into the offseason and then trade him then. I think there are some advantages to that. They should get out from under it as soon as possible, but I think between now and the start of next season, I think Anthony Davis gets traded. So I'll go 75%. Daniel Gafford, 75% as well. I think he gets traded. There's been a lot of smoke. There's been a lot of rumors about Daniel Gafford and about his contract or just about his value across the league. And so I think that there's a lot of teams that want to back up center like that. I don't think Daniel Gafford has been very good this season. So if the Mavericks can get out of that contract, I think that might be for the best because he's signed, like I said, through 2027, 28. I mean, he signed for 3 or 4 more years. And what if this season is not just ankle stuff? What if it's about fit? What if it's about him playing in the NBA? I have faith that he'll come back to what he was last year and the year before, but If he's not, then that could be a bad contract for the Mavericks. And so I'll say that Daniel Gafford gets traded. He has some value. If the Mavs can get a first out of him, that'd be awesome. And that would be that's assets in the future, which is where your value is for your whole franchise. Naji Marshall, I'm 50-50 on. I'm 50-50 because I think the Mavs will wait for the right thing. I don't think they'll force a Naji Marshall trade. I don't think they should force a Naji Marshall trade. But I think that 50-50, that if they get a first, you're like, all right, yeah, I think we got to do that. Klay Thompson, I'm like 33%. His contract's a little bit bigger than like another team would think. There's not a lot of teams that have contracts that can match a Klay Thompson, but I think he would have some. I think teams would want and need a player like that. So I think there is a chance, but I don't think it's very high. Coming up, I think the Mavericks are set up right now in the middle of Flagg's rookie season better than they were in Luka's rookie season. I'll tell you why coming up. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by Game Time. During basketball season, there's nothing like being in the building. I'm there every game. I don't miss one because I love to feel the crowd energy. I love to see the things that happen. There's always weird things that happen in Mavericks games. There was a guy the other day that tossed 3 balls into 3 different fire pits, and he won like a $600 fire pit and then a $300 or a $400 pizza oven and like a $600 griddle. And you're just like, wait, he just won like $2,000 worth of outdoor like cooking equipment. All kinds of fun things that happen at Mavs games and NBA games and all kinds of stuff. And that's where Game Time comes in. Game Time app gives fans the advantage back, making it incredibly easy to score amazing tickets, fast, simple, without the guesswork. So if you want to go have fun, enjoy games, I enjoy going to Stars games. I enjoy going to Mavs games. I've only been to a couple not working, but they're obviously great fun all the time. I love that you can see the view from your seat. The zone deals are super helpful to unlock great seats at an even better value. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use this code Locked On NBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem this code LOCKEDON NBA for $20 off at Game Time.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
All right, Isaac, let's get into the rest of these questions that we got. What's the percentage each player gets traded is an interesting one. That's just all on gut. One of the questions we got on the text line are the Mavs set up better now for Flagg halfway through his rookie year? We're 43 games through. We're halfway through his rookie year, which is kind of wild to me. Are they set up better now than they were with Luka in 2018? Halfway through Luka's rookie year, we did not know the Porzingis trade was happening yet. So this is what Luka had then. He had a 21-year-old Dennis Smith Jr., who we could already tell that the fit was not going to work. And there's already questions about Dennis Smith Jr. where the numbers that he put up his rookie year is it sustainable? Can he level that up? What's his role in the NBA? A smaller guard that has a hard time shooting. Like what's his role in the NBA? Like the only way he could have gone was like a Ja Morant route, and it's a very small percentage. We didn't even know that Ja Morant was going to go that route yet because Ja Morant was playing at Murray State. They had a 22-year-old Brunson, and there was no scenario that anybody could see that Jalen Brunson was going to end up being Jalen Brunson. Incredible work from him as a development player and as a just finding his fit in the NBA, finding what makes his game work in the NBA. Incredible development from Jalen Brunson on his own. But he was 22. He was a rookie. He was not playing. He was playing on and off. Harrison Barnes was the best player that Luka had on the team in his rookie year. He was like 26 years old. He was taking the most shots. He had signed here after he left the Warriors, and he was like, like it was his team. That's a weird experience. He had a 25-year-old Dorian Finney-Smith, 27-year-old Maxi Kleber, 26-year-old Tim Hardaway Jr. Eventually came over in the Porzingis trade, but those were like the role players. You had a 30-year-old DeAndre Jordan, 35-year-old Devin Harris, 40-year-old Dirk Nowitzki. They didn't have a 2019 pick, so Luka's rookie year, they could be bad, but they weren't going to get their pick. At least in Flagg's rookie season, they have that pick coming up. And then they traded the 2021 first and 2023 first for Kristaps Porzingis. And Porzingis was already hurt when he came in. And then the Mavs were betting on that to be the thing that was going to propel them forward. And so knowing what we know now, that was a mistake. And it didn't work. It was a mistake because it didn't work. I think it still was a good risk, but it didn't work. And so then Luka was not set up well. I don't think. And it took until after 2023, where they got Lively, they traded for Kyrie Irving, that ended up working out and all that. Luka also had Donnie Nelson as the GM, Rick Carlisle as the coach and Mark Cuban as the owner. And Flagg has a completely different set of people in the running the franchise right now. He doesn't have a GM right now. You have a co-interim GMs in Matt Riccardi and Michael Finley. You have Jason Kidd as the head coach. I think there's pros and cons to having Rick Carlisle or Jason Kidd. Rick Carlisle definitely a better tactician on the court. I think Jason Kidd definitely a better connector with players. And I think that's important for a lot of things in 2026 NBA for connecting with players. And the Patrick Dumont, Mark Cuban choice, there's some pros and cons to all three of those things. Luka definitely had the more stable front office, coach, executive, owner, executive front and all that for sure, because those guys have been there for 20 plus years running this franchise. But I also think there's some disadvantages to that. Running a franchise for 20 plus years, owning a team like that, you're not flexible. You do things one way because it worked for you. You've got so much history you're trying to deal with, and you're rigid. And so Luka ended up clashing with Rick Carlisle, and that ended up not working out. And we'll see what happens. Mark Cuban ended up selling the team, but Mark Cuban made some choices too that not a lot of fans were happy with. Don Nelson definitely made some choices. There was some weird stuff remember all the stuff with Haralabah Balgaris, and Mark Cuban brought him in, and Donnie Nelson didn't want anything to do with it. And then all of a sudden Haralabah was making the 2020 pick, and Josh Green ended up being like all that stuff happens because there's so much history between all these guys and so much stuff happening that all of a sudden it creates a non-stable environment. So yes, Luka in his rookie year had stable Mark Cuban, stable Rick Carlisle, stable Donnie Nelson, but it ended up not being a positive, I don't think. And then Nico came in and changed a bunch of things. At first for the better, and then later much worse. But I think he set them up really well because he came in, innovated some things, changed some of the ways that the Mavs thought about some of these players and how they thought about building around Luka. It ended up working out. They went to the finals. But now we've got question marks at ownership, question marks at who the GM is going to be. But they do have Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd has proven that he can take a team to the Western Conference Finals, the NBA Finals. And so I think it's different. But I think Flagg is set up in a better way for all the things that I mentioned before. The Mavs have more flexibility. They have more first-round picks going forward. They have a better. I think they will have a better cap situation. They have more talent around him right now than Luka had in his rookie year. Luka didn't have anybody like. He had a Max Christie and a Jalen Brunson, but Jalen Brunson wasn't who Jalen Brunson was. They have more pieces to trade going forward. They have the 2026 first-round pick. I think Flagg is better set up. Because a lot of those things I mentioned for Luka's rookie year were like not positive, right? He came in with not a lot. All right, there you go. That's what I think about the Dallas Mavericks right now. That's some answers to some of your questions. I'll do a couple more. I'll do a bonus where I think about how the Mavs should set themselves forward. So I'll do that. Check out the Everydayer Club. There's a link in the description or the QR code where you can get ad-free episodes of this show. So if you listen to the ads and you're like, I hate this, then you can go subscribe to the Everydayer Club. You also get access to our Discord. We'll do questions and answers in there. We chat, and there's a whole bunch of Mavs fans that are in there, and that's super fun to be able to talk to them. So subscribe to the Everydayer Club. We're trying to be the number one. You know who's got us beat right now in Everydayer Club subscriptions is the Blazers. Mike Richmond, killing it, crushing us. So subscribe to that, and it would help us out. So subscribe to the Everydayer Club. I'll be back a little bit later today talking about how to set the franchise forward. Guys, thanks so much for listening to Locked on Mavs.
Peace out.